Toby, a long afternoon, and literally as well as metaphorically, I guess. How do you think your team stood up to a difficult challenge there?
Not very well. From the scoreboard point of view, I think there were moments where we showed, a lot of competitiveness, which was great. But you need a lot of competitiveness and a lot of success in individual moments in order to do really well against a very, very good team. Look, we knew there was a gulf in the selection when we came here. We knew that, the short turnaround where we are in the competition, as tough as it is to swallow, from our fans' point of view, it's a difficult watch, especially the ones that have made the trip, and we feel for them. And we've blooded some youngsters. We've made the decision to try and protect next week a little bit. We've got a lot of absentees from the squad we've got, and it's about managing that. And as you saw, for a long time we held in the fight and stuck in the fight, just like last week. But ultimately, class tells and collisions tell, and they're a very abrasive team, and we didn't deal with that. And as the game went on, I thought we started to fall away a little bit physically, and that's not an intent thing, that's a physics thing. So look, we need to be technically excellent to live with a side like Sale when they get their tails up, as we did with Racing last week. But we know that this competition is extremely tough, extremely physical, extremely big, and that's what we're trying to grow this group of players and recruit players to be able to compete at this level.
Obviously your responsibility is only with the Ospreys, but 0 from 11 for the Welsh sides in the Champions Cup is pretty depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. And I think that if you look at the nature of, I watched the Scarlets game yesterday. I'm not going to comment on it. I put forward for an outcome. It was very similar. There was the arm wrestle and then the 4-right. And I think that we all want the same thing, right? We want successful regions and successful Wales. So from that point of view, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at lots of different levels to try and change that. But these fixes aren't going to happen next week. It's a long-term approach to get a greater strength and depth, to get greater quality of players through, right the way through. We've certainly, from conversations we've had, you've seen what we're doing at the Ospreys in order to play our part in that and blooding young players and getting them through. But this is a step up. This is a different competition with different quality. You look at your La Rochelle's, your Toulouse's, your French side, your Irish provinces. This is a tough ask, and we need to try and bridge that gap as soon as we can. Is there hope of the Welsh sides getting to that level then, when English and French sides in particular have so much bigger budgets? Well, I mean, obviously, people have said to me before, if you want to be a successful coach, get good players. And good players cost a lot of money. So if you can't afford to buy good players, then you have to make good players, which goes back to that same point. And there's a balance in that, right? So we've got a lot of good players that are injured. So this is not a make an excuse issue here. We've got what we've got, and we have to work with what we've got. And I'll be always honest about that. But as you said, there are strength in depth. There is without doubt a difference, and we need to bridge that gap. The wage cap's coming down in England. Can they maintain it? Who knows? Finances determine success, often determine the success for the now, whereas long-term approach and growing your own hopefully alleviates that in the future. One definite positive, I guess, was the try-scoring debut for Harry Deeves on the open side. Yeah, he was plucky all day, right? He's against the Curry boys and John O'Ross and people like that who are, I was looking at the cap count, even for the front rows for Reece Henry, he's up against someone who's got 200 Premiership caps, Harrison and people like that, and they'll be better for it. But I'm not going to shy away. I'm not trying to just keep pushing this down the road. We need to learn lessons and learn them quickly, because we need to perform better, because we've got a URC to compete for and a Welsh Shield to compete for. So that's we're on record of saying that's our focus. It will continue to be so, and there's been some tough lessons here and last week for sure. And for the record, the injuries, Sam Cross obviously looked the most serious. What's it? Yeah, I mean, he's in a brace and crutches there, and he had to have gas in there on the pitch, which is never a fantastic sign. So our thoughts are with him. But is that knee, is it? Yeah, it's a knee injury, I think. So that's the last thing we can afford is more injury. But we picked up a few dents. I think the rest are bangs and HIAs. So from a time point of view. We get some boys back last week. Dan Leddy next week should be back, which would be brilliant because he's trained a couple of weeks. So getting some experience and some leadership will help, especially as we lose, Adam Beard and Gareth Thomas, etc., and a number of others, Owen Watkins to Wales, which are not available for us next week.
Any of the HIAs at this stage look concerning?
Okay. No, they look okay, to be fair. The doctors pulled one out, which the player was really surprised
Luke Morgan,
about.
was that?
Yeah, Luke Morgan.
Yeah,
so I've not seen it, but we can't go against the medics.
No.
We have to we just have to swallow that. And ultimately, the safety of your player is always paramount. So, we'll dust ourselves down and get ready for a massive game for us against Edinburgh.
Dan Lydiate, you say back. Where's Stephen Myler at the moment?
Stephen Myler's back. Max Nagy should be back. So there's three, that will bolster and certainly improve morale from that point of view, because the hidden cost of injury is you put a lot of time and effort into the same players, and so mentally getting some freshness. We've left Will Griffiths and Rhys Davis behind because of what we've got from an injury at the second row, with Al gone and going, and Jack Regan being injured. So we've had a lot of Brad Davis being injured. So we've had a lot of injuries in one position. So that's tough because we've had to position today accordingly.
You mentioned Dan Lydiate. How big